Hi everyone, Raquel here from scrapcosy. Today I'm bringing you my proposal for the Paper Artsy Challenge on topic 14, which is glitter. My project is actually an experiment, so I'm showing you today 9 techniques to create star tree ornaments in 2 different colors each, using different types of glitter and glitter-like supplies. If you like this type of videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any new one. And by the way, we are approaching 500 subscribers, so a giveaway is around the corner. Just saying. Okay, let's get started. This first technique involves crushed glass glitter. This type of glitter was my push to actually try these experiments. I thought this was the type of glitter that Alison Bomber used on one of her projects for her winter stamps release. Even if I was wrong, that project inspired me. I'll link it in the video below, so thanks to Alison for this. As you can see, what I'm doing is stamping, cutting, and then I'll be shaping my star already into what will be half of the ornament. And then I will use 3D heavy matte gel medium by Prima to make sure my glitter is glued in place. Lauren showed that to me at Alipali, and it works really well. Here you can see the 4 versions of star, from stamping until the 3D shape. Making the 3D shape is not difficult at all. You just need to fold the star using the lines that are stamped. You first fold those pointy bits, it's 5 foldings, and then the inner creasings will naturally appear. You just need to mark them a little bit with the nails. And I will be using 2 stars to actually make one ornament. Here I have 2 of them, both of them having that extra paper underneath, but you will see at the end that I'm cutting one of them. Now I'm applying the 3D matte gel by Prima all the way in the star. It will be fully covered with glitter, so I will not be seeing the stamped image, but that's okay. So I'm applying the glitter there. It's so shiny, I really love this one. So basically, if something was not well sticked because maybe the gel started to become dry already, then you add a little bit more on top, and that's it. And I move on to the other color of glitter. This glitter that I'm using is by Stampendous. It was coming in a pack with other supplies of the same type. I love this glitter because it's not that messy in comparison to the original one. Very big drops. These are the first ornaments. I love how they shine. Don't you like them? Okay, next technique involves distress oxides. First, I was selecting antique linen for my gold version of a star, and the idea is that you stamp and then you smudge the ink, which should be still wet, to kind of color the stamped image. However, I don't know why, antique linen was not working this way, as other inks do in the distress oxide range. So I was not entirely satisfied with that color. Then I move on the bronze bead or copper-like star. So I'm using Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I'm changing my sponge, and then as you can see there, I can color the image, just using the ink that hasn't been dried yet. And I'm repeating that, because remember, we always need 2 of each. One is the back and one is the front of the star. Because I didn't like that color very much, then I jumped to a different yellow, in this case Fossilized amber, and I repeated the same thing. I liked better this result in terms of how the ink is smudged, but I think it's too bright. I don't know, next time I may try Spice Marmalade or something like that. Still, it's an interesting result, you'll see it at the end. And my bit of shine will come from Wing of Stella glitter pen. It is a water-based pen which has some glitter, micro glitter I would say, inside. So you need to squeeze it from time to time. And there I squeezed it too much and a big drop came. So I just was able to put it a little bit back into the pen, and with that I applied the rest of the glitter on the stars. And you can see how the shine starts coming there. It's unbelievable how much shine you get with this pen. And the good thing is that because it's water-based, you are making the Distress Oxide inks react a little bit more. So the color becomes much more intense. And of course with that shine. I'll show you later once I finish. Can you see all that shine? Wow! And these are the two stars once they are 3D shaped and glued together. Now we are going to apply some embossing powders. So we are going to do like a star with a metallic finish. I'm just stamping with some Versamark ink. My ink pad is completely dirty, but still it works fine. Anyway, it's going to be covered so you don't see the ink anyway underneath. So I'm going to apply some copper on one of them. And some platinum on the other one. I really like these tweezers. They work the other way around. If you press them, they get open. If you leave them, they close. So then you don't have to do any effort while you hold the paper. I'm using there a heat tool to emboss my powders, and as you can see, they become very shiny. So once they become shiny, they are ready to go. What I'm going to do now is coloring the inside of the stars with some distress inks, regular distress, not oxides. I'm selecting again the two colors that I originally used for the oxides, Vintage Photo for the copper and Antique Linen for the gold, platinum in this case. I dried them a little bit, because now I'm going to apply again a little bit of shimmer with a Wink of Stella glitter pen. Same technique as before. And these are the finished stars. I think that I added a little bit more ink to make it more vibrant color. For the next technique, I'm going to use some watercolors. In this case, bronze and gold. These are Kuretake watercolors, and you will see that they are very opaque. Here I'm not coloring the star, I'm just applying directly that watercolor. If you apply too much, then it's too opaque and you kind of cover the stamped image. Next time, if I would to repeat that again, I may have added some color underneath and then apply the shimmer with those. Although you see them now that they are very, very dark, afterwards you can see that they are lighter. It's a pity that the shine cannot be seen, but it's a very nice vintage look star. For the following techniques, I'm going to use Infusions as a base color to color my papers, and then I will use some other supplies on top of them. So the only thing that I'm doing is putting some Infusions on my craft sheet, spritzing some water, and then painting with a brush. If you need more color, you mix more Infusions. And that's it, just keep setting them and they will be ready to go. My perfect base. I'm using Golden Sands for the gold and Rusty Car for the copper. In this technique, what I'm going to use is some embossing powder, but this time it includes glitter. So in the same set of stampendous that I bought the glass crushed glitter, there was some embossing powder with glitter, the one in brown that I will be using for the copper version. So that's the one. And then at home I already have some Ranger glitter embossing powder. It's not in the original pot because a friend of mine gave it to me. Thank you, Ida! So now will be time for heat embossing it. Because this is glitter and it tends to dry a lot, instead of using the normal heat tool, I'm using the Ranger one, which blows very little air. You can use that one and be more patient because it takes a bit longer, but it will be good to go and you will not blow anything away. I'm finishing it though with embossing powder, and there, instead of doing it from up, I'm doing it from down, so I'm melting it from the back of the paper, and that is also a good technique. If you don't have that tool, you can use it that way. They are really shiny, pure glitter. And these are the finished stars. I just love the gold one. The bronze one is not my favorite though. For the next technique, I'm going to use real glitter, the classic one, the one that scares me so much that I haven't used in years and years, which put me away from actually trying other types of glitter. But you know what? It's one of the techniques that I like the most from this video. I don't know, the star you'll see, it's just so glittery. So again, you just stamp on your paper, then cut and then shape. And once it's shaped, we will apply some matte gel, as we did before for the other glitter, and we will put it on top of it. It's a joy just to put the glitter on top and see how it sticks to it. But it's even more fun when you actually lift the star and the remaining glitter just falls, and then you can see the star, wow, shining, you'll see that. So I'm applying the two types of glitter, one finished star. And once it's dry, then I just leave some, and can you see? Wow, I love it. And the other one as well. It's time for revealing. I love that. Can you see all the creases? Wow. Of course, after mounting them, I lose a little bit of glitter, but still, I love the shine. It's amazing. In my next technique, the glittery part will be given by the foil. So I'm going to stamp some stars, again in my infusion space with some Versamark ink, and then I'm applying some bonding powder, which is actually a glue that when melted, it will be sticky. So this one doesn't need to shine a lot, it just needs to be melted. So once you see that it changes color, then it's ready to use. Don't heat it more. So you apply the foil on top, then you rub on top of it with fingers, nails, whatever it takes. And at some point it will lift, because everything is sticked. And I'm repeating the same with the other one. In the first one I was using normal gold, and in this one I'm using rose gold. And that one is, oh my gosh, I love it. I think these are my favorite stars. Well, I don't know, but these one definitely are one of the favorites. For the next one, I'm going to use Perfect Pearls. So I use Perfect Medium. You could use also Versamark Ink if you have it, but since this comes with Perfect Medium, I'm using that. So you stamp the star on your surface, and then with the brushes that they provide, the small one, it's to apply the powder on top of your stamped image. And then the big one, which is a soft brush, it's for you to tap in very lightly on top of your image, and you will see that the dots starts to stick to it. So once you cover absolutely everything, you basically brush off the excess, put it back in the pots, and then you really clean it. And you repeat the same with the other color. Here I'm using Heirloom Gold. And for the other one, I'm using the color Cappuccino. So as before, ink it very well and stamp. and then use the thin brush to put some of the powder in. And then use the soft brush to touch very lightly on your image. Here it's more obvious, right? Here you can see how the image gets defined little by little. This is very exciting as well. I really like it. And then you remove all the excess back to the pot and clean it very well. And we are not there yet, because perfect pearls need some water to actually become permanent, so they don't move, and when you touch them you don't remove it. So you put some water, and then here I'm just heat setting it. Water is what makes it stick to the paper. Otherwise the powder would eventually go. And even with that, even after putting some water in, because it's not bound as the embossing powder, it's likely to go and fade a little bit. And that's what happened to me. When I mounted the stars, you'll see that, yes, they are faded, but they are lovely because they are like kind of vintage style, don't you think? Final technique. So now we are going to use some acrylic paints, FRESCO finish paints by Paper Artsy. So I'm going to stamp with some Versamark ink on top of the two colored papers that I've colored with Infusions, and then I'm using some satin glaze mixed with the acrylic paints to make a more translucent paint for me. That would just add a little bit of shine on it, and it would be mild, but it would be very nice, still festive. And I'll repeat the same with the copper one, just a little bit of glaze with a little bit of paint. And so you know how to mount them. What I'm doing on every single star is kind of painting a little bit the borders, either with distress inks or with Infusions or with whatever. What I don't want is to see the white edges, okay? Because once glued, you will be able to see them. And I'm also putting some on the back, because if you pay attention, once it's glued, you will be able to see the back a little bit if you're not too careful. So better to cover it with ink. So this is one of the parts of the star, the one that has flaps, and then the other one doesn't have flaps. This one I already pre-colored before starting this part. So now it's time for folding and making the 3D shapes. So you need to fold 5 times, so 1 per each part of the star using the lines. And once you finish with the 5 of them, then you will see that the intermediate creases, the ones that go the other way, the valleys, let's say, not the mountains, you can mark them with your nails and it will be very easy. So now I'm folding the flaps or the tabs, I don't know how you would call it, because the idea is that one goes, the flaps will stick to the back of the other star, basically. Then I unfold them, so then I can actually fold them better. Almost there, and if you do 18, trust me, at the end it will be super easy to do. So I used a wire and then I twisted to make a little bit ring there, and I also bent the back. Then with some sellotape I'm attaching it to the back of the star, so only the hook comes up and out, so that would be my hanger. Just removing some sellotape from there, making sure that it doesn't move, completely sticked. And then that's the lid, let's say, and that will be mounted like that. You can use any glue you want, but in my case I always trust Mod Podge for these type of things. When I try to glue paper with paper and I want it to stay forever, I use Mod Podge. It will take a while for it to dry, but it's a matter of insisting and insisting, and a couple of rounds and you will see that finally your star closes. You just need to make sure that makes good contact and keep on adding Mod Podge if you think that it's not completely closed. So you will see that I will pass through every single piece of the star at least twice, and at the end it will be completely closed and it will seem just a single object. And you will end up with your fingers super dirty, but that's okay. Mod Podge, you can remove it very quickly. But your nails, you'll need to redo them again. But that's okay. Very important to work on the pointy bits, make sure they make good contact, and all the corners, try to hide them very well. And basically, if you need to choose on which star you like most to be kind of the front or the back, the star that doesn't have flaps would be the nice side, so choose that star as the nice one, let's say. After a few rounds, it's almost ready, and that's it. So these are the finished stars. So that was all for today. Here you can see the 18 stars that I made, 9 techniques into different colors each. I really had so much fun. I can't pick a winner of a star, if you know what I mean. All the glittery ones, I love them. So basically the crushed glitter and also the real glitter one is lovely. And then maybe the foil one would be also my favorite. I don't know, which one would you choose? Just let me know in the comments below. I would love to read them. And thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks very much and see you in the next one. Bye!